wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans. Professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up. This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
Lovely people, it's me, Ted HEAD, welcoming you to another installment of the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Hope you're well in whatever it is you are doing. Hope you're enjoying the festivities of the Halloween and soon-to-be bonfire night parties as well, in whatever it is, or whatever area you are at. On today's show, you know the drill by now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk wrestling, we're going to talk Raw, we're going to talk Smackdown, we're going to talk TNA, we're going to talk Impact, we're going to talk Impact Wrestling, which is TNA, same thing, Walker, yes. WWE NXT and Ring of Honor. Also, we're going to talk Hell in a Cell. I will play the audio of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that I did, the Hell in a Cell audio that I did straight after the pay-per-view, which when I recorded it got 97 views of the stream. That was based off the stream that I did, which was beautiful. And not only that, it got over 100 views, probably about 130 maybe, before I went to bed. And when I woke up the next day, it got 830 views. And as we are talking right now, ladies and gentlemen, it has now hit the 4,000 views mark and kept on growing. So guys, I appreciate that, and I'll play that audio for you later on if you haven't seen the video. And if you haven't seen the video, get yourself over to the Wrestling Matters channel, AJW Wrestling Matters on YouTube. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, one quick little reaction. This is the new segment of my show. For the past couple of episodes of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, I've always talked about things, gave my opinions on certain topics in professional wrestling. And on today's, so I thought during the week, ladies and gentlemen, I can call this segment my reactions. My reactions to topics, whether they're good, bad, diabolical, stupidity, it makes no difference. I will give my opinions on what topics have, made the headlines and grabbed my attention. And one particular topic grabbed my attention this week from, and I hate to say this, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm a bit late, but it was in March. Now, this took place in March. I read it on the website that it was on. I can't remember what website it was. It was WWE pulling the plug on the rights to use the click symbol. Now, click symbol that was used in WCW for the NWO, that was used in WWE for the click thing. Apparently, WWE kind of ended it. Now, I don't know what the whole thing was about, but apparently WWE wanted to trademark it, which in a way is their right to do, because let's face it, before there was Bullet Club, there was NWO and the click. So they kind of had a case in that way, but the Bullet Club weren't doing any harm, and it was the Bullet Club they were referring to, because as you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, shout out to Kenny from Sunday Segway, if you watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know the Bullet Club has the gun symbol that they use, as well as the click symbol, just too sweet. Now, apparently, WWE wanted to pull the plug on this and stop them from using it and trademark it. Whether that happened or not, I don't know, and quite frankly, I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, the Bullet Club ain't doing any harm. It's just WWE, being egotistical. Now, I love WWE. I'm a WWE fan. I was born in WWE. When it came to the wrestling business, when I first watched that wrestling match that I watched back in the day, it was WWE, WWF back then. Fuck you, Wildlife Fund. Now, I do not like the fact that WWE trademarked this. This is just, look, like I say, I love WWE, but how much egotistical can WWE get? It's ridiculous. It truly is ridiculous. I mean, the WWE, oh yeah, they're using the click symbol so they can trademark that. I mean, at the end of the day, the Bullet Club ain't doing any harm. They're doing their own thing and doing a good job of it. It's, you know, it's just stupid, man. It really is absolutely stupid. You know, I don't like stuff like that. You know, if they're not doing any harm to your product and they're doing the wrong thing, I mean, no doubt about it, Bullet Club are successful. Love them, hate them, no matter what you think of them, they are damn sure successful. No question about that. No question about that at all. But I cannot stand WWE's egotistical ways sometimes. It really pisses me off. Apologise for that, ladies and gentlemen. It really does piss me off. And I'm sick and tired of it. I mean, let them be. Let them do what they want with it. They're not, you know, I mean, what are you going to do next? Stop the fans from using it, for Pete's sake. I mean, I know there's a lot of fans, me included, that use the click sign, but, you know, for fuck's sake, don't start being even more egotistical than you already are, because it's not a good look. Not a good look at all. Anywho, ladies and gents, apparently also I wanted to bring up was feeding off Hell in the Cell. Now, don't misunderstand, Hell in the Cell was great. You'll find out what I said about Hell in the Cell later on in the podcast, due to the review, which I will play. But WWE, apparently there was controversy in the Brock Lesnar match. Brock Lesnar Undertaker match. With one word, blood. Now, we all know the policy the WWE has, or the blades and everything. The blades have totally been banned. Quite rightly so. That's the most stupidest thing ever. You know, you can't control blood, you can't control gore, you can't control that shit. But why would you wrestle a match in the ring and then cut yourself just to make yourself bleed? It's just preposterous. You know, it really is. I would never, I don't give a damn. If I was in a wrestling ring, I don't give a damn what fucking promoter it is. I would never, ever take a blade and cut myself just to bleed. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. And I will tell you this right now. There was blood in the match. I won't go into too much detail. You'll get the review later on in the podcast. But during the match, there was a incident where the trainer came into the ring, the doctor, if you will, tried to check in and wipe off the blood from Brock Lesnar and probably The Undertaker as well. And it was kind of annoying to the fans because these two, quite frankly, hated each other. And whether they respect each other or whatever, but they hated each other going into this match. And, you know, it was like, fuck this. You know, absolutely annoying. And this is why I hate the PG era, because of bullshit like this. It was like, if you're going to do that, do it backstage after the match. If you're going to check on it. I mean, for fuck's sake. And it got to the point where Brock Lesnar was pissed off, and just grabbed out of the doctor, and just flung him out the way. And apparently Vince McMahon was not too pleased on that. Apparently he was very angry, according to WTTV. Now, and Brock says it was ruining the flow of the match. And it was. I mean, these two flat out hate each other. I know it's PG, but for crying out loud, man, you're in a friggin' Hell in a Cell match. Turn them loose. For goodness sake, let them sell their issue that they've got. If they kill each other, if they bleed, then they fucking bleed. I know bleeding is you know, a bad issue now in WWE compared to what it used to be with the PG era and that, but for fuck's sake, let him, you know, if you've got two guys that are in this biggest feud, probably one of the greatest rivalries in WWE's history, and they flat out hate each other, and there's nothing that could settle them. I mean, it all started at WrestleMania, you didn't settle it at SummerSlam, and then you set up for this match, and now you're pissed off about it? Hell in a Cell should be that. It's hell. No holds barred. Turn them loose. You know, let them beat the fuck out of one another. You know, that's what I do. I mean, PG or not, fuck that, you know. Turn them loose, let them kill each other. And apparently Vince McMahon was not too pleased on it, like I was saying, which was complete bullshit. And I was talking to a colleague of mine at work, and it's like the video says, if you watch the video on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description. Vince McMahon is out of time, man. He's out of touch, he's out of time. What needs to happen, and whether we love him or hate him or not, what needs to happen is, what's his name? Triple H getting involved, because he seems to know what wrestling means in this fucking company. Because at the moment right now, NXT aside, I mean, that's why he wants to branch out NXT on its own. I mean, can you fucking blame him, considering what Raw and Smackdown is like, and the main roster's stuff is like? Bullshit like that, it's fucking ridiculous. What they needs to do is Vince needs to step aside and let him be the CEO or COO or whatever it is, or Chief Executive Officer, or whatever the fuck, you know, titles they have in WWE, because he seems seems to know what the people want. He sees, and he seems to know what wrestling is. You don't believe me? Sign up for the WWE Network and watch all the NXT stuff. All Triple H's master plan. All Triple H's handiwork. Yes, he has bookers, but you know, it's all coming from the mind of Triple H, and it's bloody good stuff. And if you could do that in NXT, let him do it in WWE. Yes, it's the Authority. End the Authority. End it. This fucking thing should have ended at Survivor Series, you know. But like I said many, many times, I understood why they brought it back, because they wanted Sting to compete with Triple H at WrestleMania. And that's fine. It was a waste of time on Sting's part because he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania, but, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, WWE, quit being egotistical and just allow things to happen. Don't be too fucking trademarky with your products. They're not doing any harm. They're not infringing. You know, they're doing their own thing. You do your fucking own thing. And just let Bullet Club be. And quit whinging about the blood. It's like Vince says, you can't control blood. And when it comes to a no-holds-barred match, if you're not going to have blood in a no-holds-barred match, or you're not going to allow your participants to beat the fuck out of one another in a no-holds-barred match, whether it's Hell in a Cell, cage, whatever, then what is the point of having it? You'd be based off, or basically just best off going back to friggin' traditional wrestling. And trust me, if you did that, you'd lose your fans in a flash. Believe you me. Right, guys, holding that opinion there on part 1, and I will be back in part 2, and I will play the audio for the Hell in a Cell review, and then I'll take a break on that, and I'll be back in part 3, and then we'll come back in part 3, it'll be the Raw review, and then I'll be back in part 4 with Smackdown NXT, TNA, and Ring of Honor. Plus a few other stuff as well, so stay tuned. I'll see you in a bit. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Walker. Welcome to this Raw review weekly video, as I always do on this channel now, because you guys seem to like it and you guys seem to have an opinion on it. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching. This is the Raw review from yesterday, which was October 26th. And in case you're wondering, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I am in my dressing gown. Well, I've got my dressing gown covered over me because it is absolutely freezing in my room. And it's not only freezing in my room, it is freezing where I'm living as well. Outside is not pretty at the moment. Dull, wet, miserable, cold, flipping heck. But that's the good old British weather for you, ladies and gentlemen. Good old-fashioned British weather. Anyway, enough of the weather. Let's get down to business. It is now for the Raw review. And before I talk about anything else that was on Raw, let's talk about the main talking point around Raw, which was the Fatal 4-Way and everything that led towards the Fatal 4-Way. Raw kicked off this week with Triple H and Stephanie, although it wasn't a 20-minute promo, but they came out and basked in the glory of what was the Monday, you know, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view the previous night. And rightly so, because it was actually a good pay-per-view. If you want to check out my reviews in the description below, and it'll be up here somewhere, popping up somewhere like as a suggestion as well. So be sure to check that out. Over 2,000 views on that already, and it's only been a day or two. So cheers for that, guys. But yeah, they came out, basked in the glory, and then Seth Rollins came out, and they seemed to be proud. And Seth Rollins, for once, didn't come out and start bashing, say, "Oh, you can't do this," you know, doing his old weasel way of trying to weasel his way out of another title match. He was actually proud of himself. And quite frankly, I was proud of him too, because he got rid of Corporate Kane. And I've been wanting that for months. So there's no more Corporate Kane. And Corporate Kane is now relieved of his duties, and it seems the Demon Kane is back full time. More on the Demon Kane later on. But the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie, were proud of him. And that's rightly so. He beat Kane all by himself the other night, and, you know, fair play to him. And then he decides to say that he's a Hall of Famer and all this, just gloats in his victory over Kane. But the minute he said he was a Hall of Famer, that didn't sit well with one Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns comes out And now he's got rid of Bray Wyatt and beaten the Bray Wyatt bug. He wants a shot at the World Championship, which is currently held by Seth Rollins. And Triple H said, fine, you can have it, only if you win the Fatal 4-Way later on in the evening, which was started off on Raw. First match on Raw being Roman Reigns and Kofi Kingston. Winner goes to the Fatal 4-Way match. And a good match between the two. A great way to kick off Raw, I thought, as far as matches go, at least. Very good match. And Kofi, like I said, Kofi is the better member of the team, in my opinion. If there was a one person you had to pick Kofi out of that team as the strong point, in my opinion. And he kept up with Roman Reigns, and they dominated most of the match from what I saw. That was until Big E Langston tried to get involved, and Roman Reigns set up for the Superman punch, and then Big E takes the Superman punch. Kofi goes for Trouble in Paradise, and then gets speared instead. And Roman is off to the match, the Fatal 4-Way match later on in the evening. Like I say, good way to kick off, man. Good way to kick off. And this is what they needed to do with Roman Reigns. I mean, whether you like Roman Reigns or you don't, I personally do. But I think would I prefer him to John Cena? That's another debate for another day. But you knew he was going to be the next man in line to face Seth Rollins. More on that Fatal 4-Way later. The next two matches, qualifying matches for the Fatal 4-Way, was Alberto Del Rio. I still can't believe he's back. The new US champion against Neville. Now, experience and wrestling ability proved to be the factor for Mr. Del Rio in this match. Neville tried to quicken things up and catch Mr. Del Rio off his game, but it didn't work. And a miscue from Del Rio was countered by a miscue by Neville because Del Rio tripped him up. He's hanging in the Tree of Woe, and then Del Rio hits a vicious double stomp, which in a way knocked Neville out, and Del Rio gets the victory. What's next for Neville? I really don't know what can be next for Neville, to be honest with you. I'll talk more about Del Rio later on. But what's next for Neville? I really don't know, to be honest. What could he do now? I mean, he's obviously done with the feud with Cosmic Wasteland. The six-man BS is over. I don't know. I don't know what we could do with Neville, or what I would do with Neville if I was booking. Or what WWE could do with him, to be honest. Never mind me. Anyway, speaking of six-man tags, one of the partners in that six-man tag from Neville, Cesaro, went one-on-one with Kevin Owens again. Now, Kevin Owens proved something to me in this match. Not that he hasn't proved anything in the past, but Cesaro dominated this match. He really did. He took it to Kevin. But Kevin Owens used his brain. Excuse me. Like I was saying, Kevin Owens used his brain and outsmarted Cesaro. He lured him into a trap. He was on the ropes, lured him into a trap, super kick, pop-up powerbomb. That's a wrap. I mean, fair play to Kevin. Cesaro, he should be competing for the World Championship. I mean, he had a great outing in the six-man tag at Hell in a Cell. He's had great outings in the past. He's had incredible matches on Raw with John Cena. Yes, I said that. He's had incredible matches, and he has done well for himself as a singles wrestler since his unfortunate injury of his tag team partner, Tyson Kidd. And he's done well for himself because, Tyson injury, this has gave him the ball to go, I'm going to prove myself as a singles wrestler. And he's done that in full credit to him for doing it. And I've always liked Cesaro since Ring of Honor when he was called, Claudio Castagnoli, to any Ring of Honor fans watching this. But yeah, I mean, he was just great, and he really should be competing for a championship. I would like to see him and Del Rio go at it for the US title. That'll be good. Anyway, I'll come to the field. One more match before I do that. Big E Langston and Dolph Ziggler, which had a guest at ringside in the form of Tyler Breeze and his new girlfriend, Summer Rae. Now, from what I saw, Tyler never got involved. And Big E dominated Ziggler. But again, it only takes one mistake. And Dolph capitalized on it, and that's why he is the show-off, and that's why he's probably one of the best wrestlers in the company, because he did that, and one mistake cost Mr. Langston, and Dolph went on to the fatal four-way match. What's next for Big E? I mean, he's a tag team champion. I mean, him and Kofi have got nothing to lose. They are tag team champions, and Kofi trying to do his best Xavier Woods impersonation on the outside. Not as good as Xavier Woods, I might add. In terms of loudness, Xavier Woods wins in that respect, trust me. But Kofi and Big E are a great team together. I just don't like this gimmick they've got, to be honest. But hey, it's successful for them because they are the tag team champions. Who would be next to challenge them for the tag team titles? I really couldn't tell you, to be honest. It seems more likely it may be the Dudley Boys again. I don't know. That's my theory on it. It is ridiculous, no doubt. Just my view. And it's ridiculous the fact that the Dudley Boys are not the 10-time World Tag Team Champions. They've had 3 goes of it. 2 they won by DQ. And credit to New Day, the 3rd one they lost cleanly. And at the end of the day, it's not New Day's fault. It's just WWE booking. And yes, I know the Dudleys were brought in to help the younger talent in the tag team division. But, it doesn't make sense. They should have gave them their 10th tag team title, in my opinion. Speaking of the Dudleys, they teamed up with Ryback against Rusev and Sheamus and Wade Barrett. And now this match, Ryback and I don't care what anyone says, Ryback and the Dudleys had this match won, but one mistake allowed Wade Barrett to capitalize, grab a tights, and get the victory. They stole the victory. And I got to tell you, I'm impressed with this little 6-man team of Rusev, Sheamus, and Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett and Sheamus are a tag team because, apparently Wade Barrett, according to many dirt sheets, wanted to be a tag team. It's really a thing. I believe they could be tag team champions. I mean, Sheamus is already Mr. Money in the Bank. But, have they got that tag team, chemistry in there? It seems they have, but they haven't had, they haven't been tested. Maybe put them with the Dudley Boys and see if they can be tested there, or get an established team and really test Wade Barrett and Sheamus, because I think they could be a good team. But to be a tag team, you've got to test yourself. And in my opinion, Wade Barrett and Sheamus have not went down that route yet. But whatever they're doing in the 6-man tag, the 6-man they are doing with Rusev seems to be working. And hey, fair play to them. What can be next? I don't know. Maybe there'll be a team like New Day. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, if the Whites can have 4 people and New Day can be a 6-man team, why not Rusev, Wade Barrett, and Sheamus? Something to think about, man. But I'm very impressed. I have to admit, I'm very impressed with the 6-man team of Wade Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev. What's next for the Dudleys? I really don't know, to be honest. I thought they'd be 10-time World Tag Team Champions, like I said, but, WWE made them look like fools, in my opinion. Right. Let's see if I've missed anything out before I get to the Fatal 4-Way. I've done Kevin Owens, Cesaro. I'll get this out the way. Titus O'Neil talks about Susan G. Coleman and thanks to WWE Universe for supporting Susan G. Coleman, with the Rise Above Cancer, hashtag Rise Above Cancer. I don't mind this on Raw. I don't mind WWE doing this. It's neither here or there. I mean, do you want to see something like this on Raw? Them talk about this on Raw? No, because it's supposed to be a wrestling program, but I know many people are not going to like seeing this on Raw, or many people will, and many people like the cause. Everybody has their opinions, but to me, it's neither here or there, to be honest. But it's a good cause. Rise above cancer. Right. Might as well get this out the way as well. Team PCB were back together against Team Bella. But it seems that they're going down a route with Charlotte versus Paige, because Team Bella wins and then Paige just snaps again. Just when you thought PCB was back together, Paige snaps and turns on Charlotte and Becky and starts beating them up and creates a heel turn, despite the fact the Los Angeles crowd were cheering her. I believe it was San Diego crowd were cheering her. Now, I don't know what people have against them, Charlotte. I'm a fan of Charlotte because she's a wrestler. So is Becky. And in a way, so is Paige. But, yeah, I didn't like that bit. And this thing... Look, I love this Divas Revolution. I love the fact that Charlotte's the women's champion or Divas champion, and that. But I'm starting to lose faith in this Divas Revolution, because all it is, these 6-person, 6 diva matches that they're having are starting to bore me. You've got to shake things up a little bit more now. You can't push these divas in 6 men or 6 teams or 6 diva matches. Create some competition. If you want to keep Becky and Charlotte together, fine. Do that. Keep them together. Get Sasha Banks to turn face. Bring Bayley up and create the 4 horsewoman. That's the only stable you need, quite frankly. Not Team Bella or Team Douchey or, Team this or Team that or PCB. If you want an established group, create the 4 horsewomen. Allow Bayley to come up. Allow Sasha to turn babyface. Quite frankly, have all 4 of them turn heel. And have the evolution of the women's division. 4 horsewomen. And have them run riot and put people over. And do what the old 4 horsemen used to do back in the day. Because that would bring some credibility to the Divas division. These 6-man matches that they're having, man, it's like watching Freebirds back in the day, but very bad. It needs to stop. Create some competition. If you want, like I say, if you want to keep Charlotte and Becky together, fine. Like I say, create that for the Divas division. But, you got to mix it up a little bit now. I'm sick of these 6-person Divas matches. If I see another 6 Diva tag match, man, I'm going to puke. Man, I really am. It's I love the Divas Revolution, but it's time to change. It's got to change now. You've had your fun with it. Let's change a bit. Keep it fresh. Keep it interesting. Because at the moment right now, as much as I hate to say it, I'm losing interest. I'm not losing interest in the fact that Charlotte is the champion. I'm not losing interest in Becky or Paige, despite the fact what she's done. But things have got to be shaken up around here. And we all know it's going to be Paige and Charlotte at Survivor Series, I would imagine. Kane confronts Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt comes out and explains why he did what he did at Hell in the Cell. The Wyatt family attacking The Undertaker, destroying The Undertaker, and, carrying him out like if he was on a cross like Jesus Christ. Apparently, he wants to be revamped. And the only way he can do that is taking the soul of The Undertaker, which didn't sit well with one Demon Kane. And Demon Kane comes out and looks for revenge. But he gets the exact same doing as The Undertaker did. Now, man like me, 25 years of The Undertaker, November 22nd at the Survivor Series. And I've got some Undertaker videos coming soon to this channel as well during this November month, leading into the Survivor Series to celebrate the dead man's legacy. 25 years, I didn't even know. I mean, blooming heck, 1990 seems like a long time ago now. But it seems they're doing something very special for the pay-per-view. Wyatt family versus Brothers of Destruction. That is if they allow The Undertaker to come back. Obviously, they've got to let him come back at some point because Survivor Series is about him. And how can you have a Survivor Series that is 25 years of The Undertaker and not have the man on the card? Yes, he's probably still feeling the effects of what happened, and you'll probably still feel the effects of what happened at Hell in the Cell. But you can't promote a pay-per-view Survivor Series 25 years of The Undertaker and not have the man on. It's ridiculous. You know, like I said, put him in the tag team. Wyatt family versus Brothers of Destruction. Or better yet, create a Survivor Series match. Wyatt family versus Brothers of Destruction and any two guys that they're choosing. Or any two guys you want to throw in. I'd like that. But it has to have, yeah, that's a match I'd like to see. Either way, it's going to be BOD, Brothers of Destruction against Wyatt family. Just how they're going to do it, I don't know. But like I say, 25 years of The Undertaker at Survivor Series, and you can't do that without having him on the card. But Kane came out and confronted Bray Wyatt and got exactly the same fate as The Undertaker did, and exactly the same thing. And then after the break, you saw it backstage. He's got the whole world in his hands, and they're just like literally just dragging him back to their locker room or whatever it is they were doing. One funny point of Raw was Miz. Can't believe I'm talking about this idiot. The Lady Gaga of the WWE. Miz playing WWE 2K16. As of right now, that game is out now in America. I don't think it's out here in the UK until Friday, which I will be getting. No matter what, I will be getting it. But like I say, it's not out till Friday in the UK, and Miz was playing it backstage. He was playing the Stone Cold Steve Austin 2K showcase. And he beat The Rock, which I believe was at WrestleMania 17 showcase. And he goes, that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Austin 360 says, I just whipped your ass. But the problem was he wasn't saying it. He looks around, Stone Cold's there. And obviously it was a way to promote the game, the video game, despite the fact that they all crapped themselves when Stone Cold arrived. I mean, they're all having fun, cheering the Miz on and everything, and then and then Stone Cold pops in out of nowhere, and they're all like, "Oh shit!" It was just great. It's always great to see Stone Cold back. As far as Raw's concerned, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I had no issues with it, no critiques with it. You guys might have your critiques about it and what it was about, but you know, it wasn't awesome, but it wasn't bad either. You know, it was in the middle, and it was strong after probably an epic night in Hell in a Cell. So I would probably give it a 6. Now, you know what? To be a little fair, I'll give it a 6. Last week's was better, no doubt, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. 3.5 out of 5 in that kind of terms. It was a strong outing for me after an incredible night at Hell in a Cell and after an incredible match with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Now, guys, if you want to hear that or see that review, like I say, all the links will be in the description below. For more on the Wrestling Matters podcast and the Wrestling Matters channel, go to WM Podcast on Facebook, and at WM Podcast on Twitter, facebook.com/WM Podcast, for those of you that didn't get that. All the links will be in the description below. All the links are in the description below where you can find me. Also, if you go onto my YouTube page, there's a second channel link in the corner. That's my games channel. Be sure to check that out. I'll be doing some live streaming very soon, hopefully by the end of this week, which I've got a little bit of business to take care of out the way. I'm working Saturday, so it might be Sunday-ish, the weekend. But if I could do it before that, I might do Friday night, actually. If I'm not doing anything Friday, I might come home and do some live streaming on Friday night. So if you want to see all that, the only way you get to see it is on the Games Matter channel. Click the link, youtube.com/Games Matter channel, and just subscribe to it, and you get to see me play 2K16, because I will be getting 2K16 on Friday. Like I say, it's out now in the US, but on Friday, it'll be out in the UK. So, all in all, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Voice your opinions, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Subscribe for more of these videos. There's a lot more videos to come. And be sure to check out the new episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker, saying see you soon. Peace. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter @WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. What's going on, guys? It's me. It's that HEAD with you for another video. Yes, I have just, as I'm doing this now, guys, I have just finished watching Hell in a Cell. And one of the damnedest, shocking pay-per-views I've seen in a while, which ended on a sour note, quite frankly. And I'll get to that in a bit. WWE Hell in a Cell. I'm going to give you my thoughts, quick thoughts, reviews, and opinions on what I thought of the pay-per-view. In general, there were shocking moments. There were disgusting moments. There was downright awesomeness. And, pathetic moments as well, quite frankly. But anyway, we're going to get to that. We're going to break it down here. I've come on 5 minutes early. I know I scheduled this for 4 o'clock, and then I mixed the time up because the clocks went back the previous day. So I had to do this for 3 o'clock UK time, because over here in the UK, WWE started an hour early, and it was 11 a.m. it started with the kickoff show, and then Hell in a Cell started at 12 o'clock midnight, and it's now finished, and it's now, as I am doing this right now, 2:57 in the morning. So I'm just, buying some time before I get into the actual thing, because I know I scheduled this, but hey, I just wanted to come on a bit early and everything, and hopefully we'll get this up and running. Yeah, shocking moments happening, and very unexpected thing happened, which kicked off the pay-per-view as well. And you know what? I'm going to get to that right now, actually. Let's get this thing started now with the US Open Challenge. Now, there was a lot of talk going on about this, of who it would be. There was talk about Tyler Breeze. I don't think anybody expected Alberto Del Rio to show up. This is the same guy that was probably unfairly fired a couple of months back or a while back because he slapped an employee for being racist and whatever. He's been away, and the talk was on the dirt sheets that the WWE wanted him to go away for 6 months just to clear just to clear the air. They never wanted to get rid of him in the first place, just to clear the air. Well, Seb Coulter returned as well, Dutch Mantel, and he brought out Alberto, and it was Alberto Del Rio went one-on-one with John Cena. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, as we all predicted, because we all know John Cena's taken some time off, Alberto Del Rio super kicked Cena right in the face and beats him and becomes now the new US champion. That was shocking to me. It was a slow-paced match, wrestling match. It was wrestling, no question about it. It was a wrestling match. It was a slow-paced match for me, but Alberto's back. I really, truly cannot believe it. Did I ever think I'd see him in the WWE ring again? The last time I saw him wrestle, I believe, was for Ring of Honor. And it was unbelievable. He's back. He's now the US champion. I don't get this thing with him and Seb Coulter, because the last time I saw him in the WWE ring, him and Seb Coulter did not like one another. So I don't know what the mix is with putting them two together. But, hey, Alberto's back. He seems to be back in business in WWE, and you know what? I'm glad he's back. I never expected it, to be honest. Last person I expected, but he is now the US champion, Alberto Del Rio, and looks like we won't be seeing him for 6 weeks. Anyways, I don't get why they did this second. Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. I don't understand why they did this second. But hey, get it out of the way, I suppose. A fight, a great fight, because it was a fight. Lots of stuff in the match. There was kendo sticks. There was tables used. These two had a good physical match. A good, solid physical match. And I believe it was a great Hell in a Cell. Wasn't the best one I've seen, but it was a great Hell in a Cell match. And Roman Reigns came out on top with the spear. Now, the highlights of the match were, the highlight for the match, if you go back to Raw, when they had the match on Raw, Roman Reigns speared Bray Wyatt through the announce table. He did it again, and this time it was through a table that was set up on the outside inside the cell. And it was the damnedest thing. It looked more brutal than the one through the announce table. But fair play. I can't speak. Fair play to Roman, and that's what needed to happen, guys, if they wanted to get Roman Reigns back, because we all know Roman Reigns is the next big thing. I mean, you heard the chants. Let's go, Roman. Roman sucks. Let's go, Roman. Roman sucks. You know, he's been built as the new John Cena, so to speak. Which I hope doesn't happen, quite frankly. But hey, it is what it is. And somewhere down the road, they're building him to be the World Heavyweight Champion. And I think he did a good job in this match. And, you know, like I said, fair play to Roman Reigns. He got the win, just like he needed and just like he had to get the win. And Wyatt came a good outing too, and he proved that he could hang, and he proved also that he doesn't need his white members. He could go with people in the ring. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is about Wyatt. Yeah, he probably lacks wrestling talent, and he probably makes it up more on the promos and everything, because he's king of the promos in WWE. But both men put on a good match, and credit to them, in my opinion. The next match was probably the most sad moment of the a sour moment, if you will. There you go. I knew it would come to me eventually. a sour moment of the evening for me, because I wanted to see the Dudleys become 10-time World Tag Team Champions, or WWE World Tag Team Champions, but they didn't. For some strange reason, Kofi Kingston and Big E Langston are still the World Tag Team Champions as part of the New Day, minus Xavier Woods. Now, don't get me wrong, fair play to New Day. They got the job done with a little help from Big E's using the trombone, but they got the job done without Gobshite on the outside. Xavier Woods, who's in hospital from the looks of that tweet that was sent. But in my opinion, I know the Dudleys probably came back to, to help the tag team division and put the young talent over in the tag team division. But the fact that they've had 3 tag team title matches, right? 3 tag team title matches. But 2 they won by disqualification. And the 3rd time they lost. Cleanly. I'll give New Day their due. They lost cleanly. But they lost the 3rd time around. I'm sorry, but WWE have made them look like complete fools. Because it was like the dangle, oh yeah, we're going to give you the 10-time tag team title. We're going to give you that 10th title, tag team title run and everything. And then they just drop it away from them and allow New Day. That makes the Dudley Boys look weak, in my view. But you can't deny that New Day won cleanly. You can't deny that. With a little help from the thing, but the referee didn't see it. And then Kofi, Trouble in Paradise on Bubba Ray and gets the victory. Yes, the trombone was involved, but they didn't. They won. What I mean by winning clearly, they won without Xavier Woods. They proved tonight they could win without Woods. They could do it by themselves. They don't need Xavier Woods coming in and interfering and, distracting them. They proved tonight they could win without Woods. So, fair play to them. Do I like them? No. Do I like the gimmick? No. Do I like them as champions? No. But the Dudley Boys were weak tonight, and New Day were in control most of the match because of the miscue with the Dudleys, but I still think they should have won the tag titles, in my opinion. But like I said, fair play to New Day. They won the match without Gobshite on the outside, Xavier Woods. Now for the Nikki Bella and Charlotte Divas title match. Now, don't misunderstand me. Nikki Bella brought her A game tonight. I know everybody slates her and everybody gets on her case. She's Mrs. Cena. And some people say that the only reason she's now the new record holder in the Divas Championship, longest reigning Divas champion, is because of John Cena. And to a point, that is true. If you believe the dirt sheets and the backstage politicking from John Cena. But Charlotte took punishment in the match and punishment on the back, and Nikki brought a game plan. I thought she did a good job in this match. There was no Becky Lynch at ringside. There was no Team Bella at ringside. These two, in my opinion, had a good match. And like I said, Nikki brought a game plan to work on the back to hopefully not, have Charlotte win by the figure 8 because, that's putting a lot of pressure on the back. And if she can't use the back to use the figure 8, and then she's in trouble. But highlight of the match for me was on the outside towards the end because Nikki used an Alabama slam move. And basically, do you know how the powerbomb, when Kevin Owens powerbombs in the apron, Nikki just Alabama slammed her right in the apron, back first in the apron, and it looked bad. But credit to the Divas champion. She's still the Divas champion because she countered the rack attack, locked in the figure 8, and made Nikki Bella tap out again. So, it was great. And the future of the Divas division is now. Because I said this before, Charlotte is the future of the Divas division. And if WWE is smart and thinking, which seems like they are, they should build that Divas division. They should have done what they did with Natalia. You know, they should have done what they should have done with Natalia back in the day. And they seem to be doing that with Charlotte. And fair play to them. What I don't get is at the end of the match, Becky Lynch comes out to celebrate with Charlotte, and Paige is coming out with her as well. Have I missed something with that? I must have missed something with that, surely to God. I must have done. I mean, one minute they're arguing and having the differences, the next minute PCB's all pally again. I mean, Becky Lynch wasn't buying it on SmackDown from what I saw. I don't know. Seth, you know, same thing. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention as well. Kofi Kingston, back in the tag match, Kofi Kingston tries to do an Eddie Guerrero. There was a lot of tributes in this pay-per-view to Viva la Raza himself, Eddie Guerrero. They tried to do it with the trombone, Kofi, but it didn't work. They tried to get the disqualification where they make the ref think that Bubba Ray hit him with the trombone, which Big E eventually did. But there was a lot of tributes to Eddie Guerrero in this pay-per-view as well, because next month is the anniversary of Eddie's death. Viva la Raza. Now for the World Championship match. And thank the good Lord, there's no more Corporate Kane. Yep, you heard me correct. No more Corporate Kane. Seth Rollins, I got to give him credit, man. He did it. He beat Kane cleanly. Kane tried to dominate, but Seth, using his quickness and wrestling ability, hey, I've never doubted that Seth Rollins is probably one, if not one of the best wrestlers in the world. This guy, I've watched this guy since Ring of Honor. I knew this guy would be good. And full credit to him. He even countered a move that Kane tried to do during the match, was one of my favorite spots in the match, and powerbombed Kane on the Spanish announce table. And for some reason, the Spanish announce table, yeah, we got that right, didn't give, which was something. And then Seth pays his tribute and hits a frog splash. Quite frankly, he hits a frog splash. It didn't even look like he was doing Eddie Guerrero's, because it looked like Rob Van Dam's version. It did. I swear it was a 5-star frog splash that he did. You know, I know everybody's paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero on this pay-per-view, but, you know, it was a 5-star frog splash. Michael Cole saying everybody's paying tribute. Yeah. But Seth there, I swear Seth paid tribute to RVD there. But anyway, Seth manages to win with the pedigree, and hallelujah, Corporate Kane is gone. What's next for Kane? I don't know. Hopefully the Demon Kane is back full time, because quite frankly, I never want to see Corporate Kane again. I mean, DOO, Director of Operations for the Authority. What authority? You know, there's already Seth Rollins, Triple H, and Stephanie in the Authority now. I mean, I haven't seen Big Show's away doing his own thing. J&J Security haven't been seen since Brock destroyed them. You know, what authority? But yeah, thank God Corporate Kane is gone. What's next for Seth? Guess we'll find out on Raw, won't we? I really don't know what could be next for Seth, to be honest. But anyway, IC title match, Kevin Owens and Ryback. Kevin Owens using his quickness, and because Ryback was the dominant in this match, and Kevin Owens managed to hit it with the pop-up powerbomb. Hopefully now Kevin Owens can go on to do better things with the IC title and not face Ryback. Hopefully they can get somebody, you know, somebody in there that who was never faced Kevin Owens, somebody fresh and somebody who could compete with Kevin Owens as well. Not saying that Ryback didn't compete with him or anything, but you know, it was just two powerhouses going at it. I mean, I want to see somebody wrestle, you know, have a wrestling match with Kevin Owens for the championship. Somebody who can compete with him. I don't know, maybe Dolph Ziggler or somebody like that. You know, put that in the ring. I mean, have them two feud over the belt, man. But hopefully, Kevin Owens can now go on and do better things. Now he's got the Ryback factor out of the way. You know, Ryback lost it at Night of Champions. You know, he got his rematch and lost. Hopefully now Kevin Owens can move on and do better and great things with that belt. And do great things for himself too. Not that he needs any help. But yeah, I'm very glad that Kevin Owens is still the Intercontinental Champion after that. And yep, for the big one, the big fight himself, everybody, the match that everybody wanted to see the pay-per-view for, the match that everybody probably went on and signed up for the network for, the big pay-per-view match, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. The fight itself. Yeah. Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. And just like I said, man, I would be surprised. I said in the predictions, I'd be surprised if this wouldn't have any blood. It was a bloodbath. Although I think Lesnar came out worse this time around, preferably to O2's match. But yeah, it was just a fight. It wasn't a wrestling match. You know, if you signed up for the network or signed up to see this pay-per-view and expected a wrestling match, then you were suddenly disappointed. The only irritating moment of the match was the doctor trying to come in, and then at one point, Brock just went, fuck this, and just threw the doctor out the way. With all the PG and the blood bullshit and trying to stop the blood and all that. I mean, why do you need a doctor? I mean, you signed up for a Hell in the Cell. You can't control blood. You've got a doctor hanging around the ringside. Why do you need that for? You've got two guys who flat out hated each other. Just turn them loose. If there's blood, there's blood. If you want to do all that doctor shit, do it backstage. Don't do it in the middle of a fucking match, for fuck's sake. God almighty. It really irritated me, that. And then, thank God, Lesnar, like I say, flung him out the way. Suplex City was in full effect. Big time. Lesnar went bare-fisted. He just took one of his gloves off and just fisted The Undertaker. I mean, it was just a fight, which ended with an F5 on the exposed ring. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you something here. You go back and watch the match. Lesnar, if you haven't seen it, you're going to see it. Like I say, if you didn't see this show, hope you enjoyed it. He rips the ring open. He had the Undertaker set up for what he wanted to do. He starts ripping the ring mat. And now under there was these mats, and then he exposed the wood underneath. Take it from somebody who's been in the wrestling ring. Undertaker chokeslam Lesnar onto that wood. It hurts. I don't care what anyone says. Okay? You don't think, oh yeah, wrestling's fake and this, that. Fuck that. Okay? It hurts. Hurts like hell. Take it from me. I've been in the ring. I've been chokeslammed. I've had a move done on me. Hell, taking a power slam is fucking awkward as fuck. Trust me. Holy shit. And then Undertaker tombstones him, which looked like he did it on the actual board itself, which it didn't. Kicks out. And, oh my God. And then Lesnar gets a little bit of receipt because Lesnar, just when Undertaker was going to do a move, Lesnar does the low blow like the Undertaker did at SummerSlam, hits an F5 and gets the victory, and ends the feud. Now, a story of that was Lesnar winning, but it was after the match. Because Undertaker got up, everybody was clapping, everybody was applauding, a great moment. And then the Wyatt family showed up and put an attack on the Undertaker. Now, anyone with a brain can see there's unfinished business there with Bray. Bray walks around being the new face of fear, and he doesn't like the Undertaker. He doesn't like the fact that the Undertaker's still around. These two met at WrestleMania this past year. This WrestleMania just gone. There's unfinished business there. And maybe Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker at Survivor Series. I mean, the Survivor Series November 22nd has been dubbed, it's been dubbed 25 years of The Undertaker. So surely there's going to be a match with The Undertaker at Survivor Series? Or will it wait? Will that be the match at WrestleMania? You know, hopefully it won't. I'm sick of having these big build up matches, man, and they make them wait for WrestleMania. Yes, WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, and yes, WrestleMania is where big matches go. But sometimes with these matches, I don't want to wait to WrestleMania. I want to see these matches now. Will we see this match at Survivor Series? Because there's unfinished business there. There is unfinished business there. Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, the self-proclaimed new face of fear with the original face of fear, the Demon. Obviously, there's two, nothing settled there, at least in Bray Wyatt's terms. And like I say, after that, they beat him up, and then they carried him out like if he was carried out in a cross. What's next? I guess we'll find out on Raw. And tune in on Tuesday. I'll have a Raw review. That should be promoted and up. Tune in Tuesday, October 27th, and I will have a Raw review for the October 26th Raw. And hopefully we'll get our answers on there. But guys, this is going up on YouTube. Leave comments in the YouTube page below. What did you think of the pay-per-view? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it pathetic? Was it, what did you guys think? Express yourselves. Put it all in the comments below. Be nice, but put it in the comments below, because this is what I want this YouTube channel to be. Express yourself. Wrestling fans have opinions. Use the comments below, the comment books below. Express your opinions. I do it all the time. You do it too. There's your platform. Do it. If you see this video, do it under the YouTube comment section is underneath. Take it. Express yourself. Let your voice be heard. Good, bad, whatever. You guys have the opinions. Turn it loose. And I don't mind saying this. It was actually a good pay-per-view, but it ended on a sour note with the Wyatts. I didn't want to see that, but we all know what it's going to be set up for. Will we see the Wyatt versus Undertaker match? Who knows? But like I said, we'll only find out on Raw. And that about wraps this up for the video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. A little quick review there. Get it out of the way. Tune in Tuesday for a Raw review. And also look out this week as well. I've got a video coming up this week that I'm going to upload. I don't know where I'm going to upload it. I might upload it tomorrow, but it's coming this week, guaranteed. My top 5 favorite Hell in a Cell matches. I recorded this right before the pay-per-view, so tune in for that. Check that out as well, and hope you've enjoyed the pay-per-view, guys. Like I say, comment below if you let me know what you think. Holler back at WM Podcast on Twitter, facebook.com/WM Podcast. Check out the new episode of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, and until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Peace. If you like the Wrestling Matters Podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM Podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have enjoyed the Raw review, and hope you enjoyed the Hell in a Cell review as well. The audios you can see on the Wrestling Matters channel, www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. And if you like what you see on that channel, why not give it a subscribe too, for the best in professional wrestling. Now, ladies and gents, it is now time for the Smackdown and Smackdown and NXT main talking points. TNA will come in the next part, and trust me, I've got one bit of news to say about that, one bit of thing or thoughts to say about that in regards another promotion, but I'll get to that later. Now it's time for the Smackdown main talking point, and we'll get right into it. It's only a fitting thing that SmackDown's special Halloween episode will be kicked off with the scariest superstars in the WWE, Bray Wyatt and his cronies in the Wyatt family, who proudly flaunt the Undertaker's trademark black hat and the Demon Kane's mask. Dead any 3 souls brave enough to fight the Wyatt family followers in later on in the main event? Which superstars would be crazy enough to face the Eater of Worlds' fearsome family after what they did to the Dead Man and the Demon Kane this past Monday and Sunday? More on that later. Roman Reigns beats Kevin Owens by count out. I saw this match. It was really a good match. It was a good match for what it was. But Kevin Owens, as always, lives to fight another day. Even though it was him that came out and wanted the match. I'll move on. Lucha Dragons won a tag team four corners match, which sounds to be kind of surprising considering the Ascension were in it. Wade Barrett and Sheamus were in it, as well as the Dudley Boys. But fair play to the Lucha Dragons for winning it. And it was the Lucha Dragons that pinned the Ascension. Now, Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. The Halloween theme, a trick-or-treat street fight, which saw Dolph Ziggler beat The Miz. And yes, Tyler Breeze got involved. Paige went one-on-one with Natalya and beat her. Following the contest, Naomi, Tamina, and Sasha Banks proceeded to assault Natalya, who may regret ever getting involved in a Divas Revolution. Sooner they turn Sasha face, the better. Not that she already isn't face anyway, but she needs to be turned face and quick. The surprising alliance of Alberto Del Rio and Seb Coulter continued to make an impact when Seb Coulter's man Alberto Del Rio and current US champion, or as he's known, Max America champion, proceeded to beat former TNA world champion R-Truth. And as for the main event, Dean Ambrose was the first superstar to stand up and accept Bray Wyatt's Face of Fear challenge. And surprisingly, he found two other competitors in Cesaro and Ryback who were not only willing but also eager to step in the ring against Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. WWE's Brave Trio of the superstars put up a valiant fight, but the terrifying adversaries used their numbers advantage to put on a fearful display of power just when the Swiss Superman had the Grizzly Harper set it up for the giant swing. The new face of destruction tossed over the SmackDown announce table, allowing Harper to send the distraction Cesaro face first into the big right hand of the Face of Fear, the self-proclaimed Face of Fear at ringside. King of Swing then stumbled right into a huge clothesline, which allowed the new Faces of Destruction to get the pin and the Wyatt family to get a victory. Okay, so with that being said, guys, that is the end of the SmackDown main talking points, and we'll switch straight in to the NXT main talking points as well. NXT kicked off this week with Emma going against Shazza, and Emma getting the victory in that. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable beat the tag team of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Nia Jax defeats Scotland's ICW superstar and current member of the NAK, Kaylee Ray. Scottish independent scene standout Kaylee Ray was looking to make an impact in her first NXT match. Unfortunately, she had a tall task of taking on Nia Jax. Despite the size advantage, Kaylee Ray went right at Nia, but her strikes had no effect. When Kaylee Ray tried aerial attacks, Nia caught her mid-air and viciously slammed her into the canvas. Nia followed up with a leg drop and put away with an impressive victory. This is the last we'll see of Kaylee Ray in an NXT ring. If ICW has anything to say about that, probably not. But at least ICW are getting noticed by WWE, otherwise that match probably wouldn't have happened. Dash and Dawson attack Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, and the main event of NXT saw Samoa Joe and Tyler Breeze. Prince Pretty played games with Samoa Joe to start the match, leaving the ring on several occasions to lure Joe into a trap and take control of the bout. However, when Tyler Breeze took a second to gloat, Joe rushed at him, unleashing a fury of strikes. There was no reprieve of the arena floor for the self-absorbed superstars. Samoa Joe dove through the ropes, launching his 300-pound frame on Breeze. Tyler Breeze went back on the offense, though, after a backbreaker out of nowhere. Ultimately, there was no stopping the furious Joe. The submission specialist used his size to his advantage, crushing Breeze with a senton. Prince Pretty escaped with a muscle buster and connected with the supermodel kick, but couldn't put away Joe. Breeze tried to roll Joe up, but instead found himself tapping out to the Kikita clutch. Now that he picked up some retribution, will Joe be able to get back into the NXT Championship picture? We'll find out very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Smackdown and NXT main talking points. Apologise if I knocked the mic there a little bit. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be finding out where Tyler Breeze or Samoa Joe lies in the coming weeks. For those of you that have read spoilers, I think you already know. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this, which it is. I don't know why I said hopefully for, but anyway. And I'll be back right after this with TNA main talking points. So, stay tuned. Be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday for the Progress Wrestling Podcast. That's right, each and every week on Wednesdays, for the time being at least, I will be reviewing their shows from their on-demand service, Demand Progress. So be sure to check out the hottest promotion to come out of London. That's right, it's Progress Wrestling. This is Progress. This is a podcast on Progress. Every Wednesday on SoundCloud, YouTube, OSW TV, and every other podcasting site that matters. Be sure to check it out. Wrestling matters, wrestling fans. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows.
Oh my God!
Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, download it free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters Podcast, and now it's time for the Impact Wrestling Talking Points. That's right, TNA. Now, I'm not going to go through too much of this because it is the World Title Series still, but I'm going to talk about one particular match on here, which regards to another company, but I'll get to that later. I'll get to that in a second, if you will. Robbie E versus Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy ends up beating Robbie E. This whole World Title Series is, quite frankly, a joke, really. And you know what? I'm going to talk about that match that I want to talk about, and one I'm talking about for another company as well, because this past week TNA gave the fans, even though it's recorded in advance, I know, I get it, but TNA gave what may turn out to be a little preview of November 15th's ICW Fear and Loathing show, because ICW Fear and Loathing is headlined by Drew Galloway defending the ICW World Heavyweight Championship against Grado. Hashtag Grado versus Drew. Now, this past week, in this World Title Series, Grado went one-on-one with Drew Galloway, and it led to Galloway slaps Grado, a furious response from Grado, which includes a rolling senton. Galloway counters with a trio of roll with a reverse suplex, followed by the running kick, and gets the victory. Could that be the taste, if you will, of what's going to happen November 15th at ICW's Fear and Loathing? Will Galloway defend the ICW, or successfully defend rather, the ICW World Heavyweight Champion? Will his cronies in the Black Label get involved? Or will Grado overcome the odds? Galloway may have got the victory in this, and yes, TNA is the recorded in advance, weeks in advance, but will Galloway be able to do what he did on TNA to Grado November 15th? It's an interesting story. November 15th, Fear and Loathing show will be seen on the ICW On Demand service for $374, $375 a month, UK terms. What that is in America, I believe that's £6 in America. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I suggest you subscribe to it. It is recommended by me, a subscriber, to go to the ICW On Demand service. And if you haven't done it, you're missing out. And find out what all the talk is. And get to see this match in its entirety, too. Because although this was part of the TNA World Championship Series, on November 15th, Fear and Loathing, this match will be headlining, and this will be for the ICW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the other matches. Aiden O'Shea defeats Crazy Steve. James Storm defeats Abyss. And you can tell this is recorded in advance, ladies and gentlemen, because now you're basically watching James Storm on two shows, TNA and NXT. So if that doesn't tell you it's recorded in advance, nothing does. Tigre Uno versus DJZ, and yes, DJZ manages to get the victory over Tigre Uno. Will he get an X Division title match? That's what usually happen if you be a champion in a singles match, or a non-title match rather. You'd be in line for a title shot. And the main event sees Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong. And Gail Kim manages to do what she did at Bound for Glory and get the victory. And she did it again, basically. Countering, outsmarting the big wrestler that is Awesome Kong. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Impact Wrestling main talking points. Now, remember, November 15th, ICW Fear and Loathing at the SEC in Glasgow, headlined by Grado versus Drew for the world title. The only way you get to see that, if you haven't been to that show, the only way you'll get to see it is on the ICW On Demand service. That's why you should subscribe. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this part. I'll be back right after this quick break with the Ring of Honor review, so stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. And I don't know if I'm going to end the podcast here in this outro, do an outro in here to end the podcast. But yeah, because we're coming close to the end of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, we're going to do the last part of the regular scheduled thing, or the regular format of the show, which is Ring of Honor. That's right, ROH, ladies and gentlemen. And it kicked off this week with Donovan Dijak versus the Moose. That's right, Big Moose. And these two guys, I didn't know how incredibly agile they both were until I actually saw this match. Dijak hits a moonsault on the outside, Moose was on the outside, springboard moonsault. Both men showing power. Moose takes it to him with the early advantage, rocks Dijak with a drop kick. Just great aerial agility, power, strength, ability by both men, which saw Moose hit a spear on Dijak to get the victory. Not a good start for the House of Truth that night. More on them later. Next was a very rocked and angered Dalton Castle going up against Cedric Alexander. Now, Dalton starts aggressively, still being pissed off from the fact that he's lost his boys to Silas Young. Dalton looking awesome, and Vader obviously has to get involved. Castle, as aggressive as I've seen since I started doing Ring of Honor on these podcasts, since I started reviewing Ring of Honor on these podcasts, Dalton very, very aggressive in this match, and I have never seen him this way. And you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing him do this often, to be honest, because it's going to get him somewhere. It's going to definitely get him noticed. No doubt. Vader Scott whines after the match that Nigel put Cedric Alexander in an unsafe working environment against Moose at the pay-per-view and in a no disqualification match, and someone like Cedric Alexander should not be in matches like that, and blames Ring of Honor also and threatens to take Ring of Honor to court. This makes me sick. Anyway, the Jay Lethal celebrations comes, the House of Truth Martini in particular, comes out and pays homage to Jay Lethal becoming, the double champion, Ring of Honor World Champion and TV Champion. Comes out, puts him over. But as they're about to speak, Roderick Strong comes out and straight up insults Lethal, thanking Truth Martini instead, which obviously pissed off Jay. He wanted to come out. Everybody thought he was going to show respect to Jay Lethal. He didn't. And then obviously these two go into an argument. And then Nigel McGuinness, as a matter of fact, Strong requests one more match. And Jay obviously denies him, saying he's not worthy of another shot of the World Championship. And there's other people in line, which is true. But Nigel makes another match. He makes, AJ Styles is the number one contender for the world title. And Nigel McGuinness makes a match for the TV Championship and makes Roderick Strong the number one contender. So the next big show, Nigel McGuinness goes one-on-one with not Nigel McGuinness, sorry. Jay Lethal goes one-on-one with Roderick Strong for the TV title. Now, if you've seen the results of that show, apparently it's already been done, you will know who the television champion is. Not going to give any spoilers away, but if you like to read spoilers, I suggest you go and find it on the internet or something, on Google. Google it, if you will. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, the 6-man main event, which saw the Kingdom and Red Dragon and Michael Elgin. Now, fast start to the 6-man match. Elgin and Dragon in control going into the first break. And coming back from that first break, they still were in control, isolating member of the Kingdom. That wasn't until the mistake by Bobby Fish, letting himself get distracted by Adam Cole. He takes a swing at Cole and then gets hit from behind, which allows the Kingdom to take control, and it was mainly the King from that point on. Great double team stuff, triple team wrestling by the Kingdom, showing them why they are great, and they are the current reigning tag team champions. Well, Matt Taven and Michael Bennett are anyway. Elgin eventually gets tagged in and kicks ass and does a double power slam. Now, I've seen a double power slam before in wrestling, but it's only when two people are doing it, a double power slam simultaneously. I've never seen one person take two guys and carry two guys around and then power slam them. Has one man on each shoulder and then power slams him. It's incredible strength. Michael Elgin is definitely a freak of nature. Carl gets tagged in after that as well and cleans house after Elgin rocks Matt Taven and Michael Bennett with clotheslines. Right and left clotheslines. He almost flattens Taven with the left clothesline as well. And a great match, great 6-man tag, which saw Chasing the Dragon by Red Dragon gets Elgin and Red Dragon to win, which was after Michael Elgin powerbombing Matt Bennett into the turnbuckle. Actually, the turnbuckle area, which had Matt Taven on. But, like I said, Red Dragon and Michael Elgin win the epic 6-man tag match. Now, after the match was the story, because next week on Ring of Honor, it's supposed to be AJ Styles and Adam Cole. Wow. Why did I say Michael Cole for? I am now retarded. It's supposed to be Adam Cole and AJ Styles next week. But Kyle O'Reilly was extremely angry and extremely pissed off, and he wanted a piece of Adam Cole. Nigel McGuinness couldn't book the match, though, because Adam Cole already wrestled. But what he could do was add to the match. So next week, instead of it being one-on-one, it's going to be a triple threat match. Next week on Ring of Honor. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, AJ Styles. That is your main event next week on next week's Ring of Honor television program. And it's going to be good. And I'll be reviewing it next week on the podcast, believe you me. After I've dealt with certain Offshoot Radio people. Yes, Offshoot Radio will be on the show next week, guys. I got in touch with Mr. Belmont this week, and I asked him to come on. And he said, when we're going to do the thing? And I said, whenever you're ready. And we've organised a date, and it's going to be next week. I'll be recording it this Wednesday, and apparently he plans a surprise as well, from what he tells me. So, if you want to see that surprise, or if you want to find out what's going to go down next week, I suggest you tune in and watch. So, it might be a big show next week. Now I've got Offshoot Radio team on. Now, also, ladies and gents, boys and girls, if you want more information on the Wrestling Matters podcast, go to facebook.com/WM podcast, at WM podcast on Twitter. Also, Wrestling Matters channel. Sometime next week, I will have my first review of ICW's Fear and Loathing. That's right. It is now Fear and Loathing month on the Wrestling Matters channel. November 15th is Fear and Loathing, like I mentioned earlier on the podcast during the TNA main points. Be sure to check it out. Plus, I'm still doing my weekly Raw reviews as well. I've got another one on Tuesday. It is scheduled for 3 o'clock UK time, but it's actually tomorrow, rather, as I'm doing this, because it's Monday today. Wow, I'm not with it today, I'm not honest. But it's scheduled for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Check it out, guys. Look into it. Check it out. It might be a little bit early, and it probably will be a little bit earlier than planned, because I've got to go out. I've got to work tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I've got a Butter game to work Tuesday night. So, like I say, sometime on Tuesday, it will be done. So be sure to check that out, and the only way you get to see it is on the AJW Wrestling Matters on YouTube. AJW Wrestling Matters, the Wrestling Matters channel, where the best in professional wrestling matters, not sports entertainment. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Walker, and you know what, I'm going to end the podcast here. Hope you've enjoyed it, and like I said, tune in next week, because I will have James Belmont here. And until next time, guys, Wrestling Matters as it always does, and my name is Anthony Walker saying, peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.